In order to develop India as a hub for exports, Union Minister for Electronics and IT Ravi Shankar Prasad chaired an active roundtable discussion with industry captains from top firms like Apple and Samsung. The name of the event was India Towards a Global Electronics Hub. Top executives from MNCs as well as component manufacturers attended the roundtable discussion. They spoke about how to take manufacturing to a larger scale and also how to bring in supply chain and value addition.
So we've been here for about 25 years, and we, in that time, expanded our operations significantly. So we are the number one player in mobile phones, consumer electronics across all devices, across all sectors. We've also been very active in expanding our value chain. So we have R&D facilities in Bangalore, in Noida, in Delhi. We've got the biggest R&D operations outside of Korea, in India. We have the biggest manufacturing facility for mobile phones in the world, which the Honorable Prime Minister last year inaugurated with the Korean President. So we have made a strong commitment in India, and we see India as a key strategic market going forward for all of Samsung Electronics.
So we've been in India for just about 20 years.
Congratulations.
We have a mixture. We have a large manufacturing presence, which is mainly in Tamil Nadu, around the Chennai area, but we also have some manufacturing in Andhra Pradesh. That's on the manufacturing side, about 20,000 people at the moment in those operations. Then we also have back office operations as like a shared service center that's split between Chennai and Pune. And then finally we have a network of operations in many different cities which are doing after sales service for some of our larger customers. We're very happy in India. I think the current administration, with some of the initiatives they're taking, are doing exactly the right things. There's some tweaking for sure, and events like today will help, I'm sure also. But no, generally it's becoming a much easier place to do business, and a place that we're extremely happy to operate in.
Under the National Electronics Policy 2019, which was approved in February 2019, India has set an ambitious target of creating a $400 billion electronic manufacturing ecosystem by year 2025. In 2018-19, the ecosystem stood at $70 billion US.
I think it's achievable. I think it was put in there after consultation with the industry. I think it will take a lot of work on both sides. I think some of those basic structures are in place. I think a lot more work needs to be done in terms of implementing that policy with specific emphasis on exports, because the domestic market is still going to be a small market vis-a-vis the global market. So I think the need now is to implement it, get all the schemes in place that need to get it implemented, but most importantly, to look at exports, because that's the large chunk of the 400 billion.
I think it's attainable, but it really requires a lot of involvement from the Indian government right now. I think there is in developing the policies that will really shape and increase the sales. In our industry, we're competing with other markets that have attractive incentives to really help ICT players like ourselves. And we have to, that's table stakes. We have to at least offer that, but a little bit more to bring those, encourage manufacturers to bring production volumes here.
I think it is, but it's going to need some careful thought. I mean, there's a lot of steps that have to be completed before we get to that stage. Such as the correct incentives, such as some training, such as the right steps of development. So, as you probably heard in the round table, one of the key themes was, where's the component infrastructure? We're doing assembly work, and assembly work is fairly easy to move from location to location. As soon as you can bring in the component ecosystem so that the lower level components are being manufactured locally, it actually becomes a lot more sticky, a lot more difficult for customers to ask you to move, and a lot less reason for us to move.
Got it.
You avoid all of the complexity of having to move material in from other countries in Asia or elsewhere in the world.
Yeah, India is a dreaming market, good potential, such as population or
Growing the ecosystem includes improving production in multiple areas. Mobile is one, LEDs and manufacturing are others under Make in India.
It's a fantastic initiative by METI. I think they have all the right people around on the table to have a discussion. I think they're listening carefully and taking notes. But this is one of many. I think the ministry has been engaging regularly with the industry. I think the next 4 months are quite critical to get some of these things in place so that we are able to take off. I think we've lost about 6 or 7 months during elections, and that usually happens in any country in the world. But now that the government is back, and the policy is in place and such meetings are happening, I think this is an important milestone to getting to the next step of implementation.
I really respect the minister. He's been extremely helpful. One of his first visits as a minister was to Korea, was to Samsung back in 2014. And a lot of the investments that we've made thus far is because of his strong support through MIT. So I really would like to extend my thanks to him.
I think anytime you can sit with a group of your peers, but also have the added bonus of having the government with you, so that everyone's getting on the same page, you're learning from your peers, you're passing feedback to the government, you're listening to their point of view, tremendously valuable.
The government actively listened with an open mind on what was being done and what needed to be done. This surely was a great first step and an important first step towards India becoming a global electronics hub, a $400 billion ecosystem that India targets to be by 2025. For New India Junction, this is Priyanka Deo signing off.